Well, it's been good news overnight from China, and as a consequence, our market is expected to open up at 54 points higher at the start. Now, this also comes at a time when the US has closed in the green as well. All their markets are up. And that's despite the fact that Donald Trump has actually threatened the EU with a 30% tariff or else. Now, what's interesting is the market is now looking at these threats from Donald Trump and not really believing them. It's called the taco trade. Yep, Trump always chickens out. And the traders are betting that the big numbers, the scary numbers that Donald Trump is putting out right now, will actually be downgraded over time. I hope they're right, because if they're wrong, if Trump continues to play hardball, it will quite shock the stock market and we'll see the market fall pretty heavily. Interestingly, another issue that Trump's been fighting on, and that is basically he wants to get rid of the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell. Now, the National Economic Council director, Kevin Hassett, told the ABC in the US that Trump can fire the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, if there's cause. Now, of course, under normal circumstances, a politician would have to have a really good cause to get rid of someone like Jerome Powell. But in the era of Donald Trump and Trumponomics, the causes for doing something seem very unusual. So I guess Jerome Powell, in many ways, has to be shaking his boots given what Donald Trump is capable of doing. And the big irony of all this is that Trump is actually demanding interest rate cuts. But the Bank of America came out last night and said Trump was, and his tariffs are actually making it very hard for the Fed to actually cut interest rates. And that, I think most economists would agree with. So it's a pretty gutsy call from Bank of America to tell the truth about Donald Trump. And this is a guy who owns a social network called Truth Social. Finally, in Australia, we used to have a newspaper here called The Truth. It started in 1902, closed in 1993, and it was quite famous for featuring actual news stories. They broke some pretty big news stories, but they were very big on nude girls and scandals. This was, as I say, a paper called The Truth, and no one really read it for the truth. Well, occasionally, but not very often. And I think in many ways, there's a parallel between the Truth newspaper and Truth Social, owned by Donald Trump. Anyway, more importantly, despite all the news that Donald Trump throws into the market that could unsettle stock markets, at this point in time, people are not believing what he says. And as a consequence, markets are expected to go up today here in Australia. That's news from me this morning. Off for a walk right now. My cap I'm wearing this morning is from Berkshire Hathaway, the great Warren Buffett's company, which a colleague of mine went to a recent conference and brought this cap home for me. That's the update from me this morning. Talk to you tomorrow.